Hello Rahul.
Hey man.
Finally we are doing this deep dive.
Yes.
Very happy for you.
Thank you,
Because
man.
I know it's been a long journey.
Yeah, man.
And finally ఈరోజు సినిమా రిలీజ్ అయ్యి ఇప్పుడు కూడా బిఎంఎస్ చూస్తుంటే రెడ్స్ కనిపిస్తున్నాయి.
Yeah, man.
సో కంగ్రాచులేషన్స్, పీపుల్ హ్యావ్ లైక్డ్ ఇట్.
Thank
దే హావ్
you.
లైక్డ్ ఇట్ వే మోర్ దెన్ ఐ డిడ్. సో ఐఎమ్ హ్యాపీ ఫర్ యూ.
Yeah.
ఓకే, సినిమా
Nice, man.
జనాలకి నచ్చడం is important. And
Correct.
this is a film regardless of liking or disliking or anything. This is a film that triggered a conversation, and there is actually a lot to discuss.
Yeah, that's something I counted on also, that it would trigger a conversation. It's something I wanted. So that's nice to see that it's happening.
Yeah. So I wanted to start with, what was your intention when you wrote Sheila Sau versus the girlfriend? Intention enti? Like, this is why I am making this film.
Very different. Chila, so when I wrote, it was very clear that I wanted to understand the nature of, or this process of realization that somebody is right for you. That is what I was looking to explore. And then everything else fell in place based on that. That how long does it take for someone to know that another person is right for you?
Compatibility?
Compatibility,
Is that the
yes,
word?
in a sense.
Yeah.
That came a little later. It started from my friend telling me that he's going through the arranged marriage process.
Yeah.
And I was like, అరే 15 minutes లో ఎలా డిసైడ్ చేస్తారా అనే పాయింట్, ఆ థాట్ నుంచి పుట్టిన కథ. So that was that. This, I want to say something that I haven't said in any interview so far. There was an incident that happened when I was much younger, that I saw, witnessed firsthand. That incident stayed in my head. That incident was a good friend of mine who had a girlfriend and was dumped by her. She broke up with him, who spent the next 2-3 nights not sleeping, raging and crying and bawling alternately, breaking his room, just drinking through the night. And he was a wreck. The guy was a wreck. And we'd sit with him, we wouldn't sleep either, keep trying to console him. This went on for a few days, and then the fourth night or whatever, 2:30 in the night, he came and he said, I need you to come somewhere. And he had 4 of his other friends. And he said, just come. So I went, and he went to a gents' toilet, took out a permanent marker and wrote the girl's number on the wall, and on top of that wrote for sex contact. And turned and looked at me, and he had bloodshot red eyes. He's equal parts raging and equal parts extremely emotionally vulnerable. And all of us knew at that point that there is no point telling him anything, because he's not going to listen. And if we antagonize him, we are the only ones capable of controlling him and keeping him in check. And we were actually worried for the girl that if we ended up saying something and antagonizing him, that we wouldn't be in control of him, and we were worried for the girl. And that incident stayed in my head for the longest time. And then now I can openly talk about everything now. And then many years later, there was this movement in South Indian cinema where jilted lover stories were going beyond the Devdas and were reaching the zone of soup boys. And to me, the difference between the two of them is, a Devdas will drink himself to death and destroy his own life. A soup boy will drink himself to death, destroy his own life, and also say, I am suffering because of you, I will make you suffer, and that revenge is righteous. And that revenge was getting... See, I'm not blaming any of these people, it's just I'm merely observing this happening, right? When about 12-13 years back, I'm observing, I'm just taking a step back and observing this movement in South Indian cinema that's suddenly people are realizing, oh, this is getting claps and whistles, and more people are telling these stories. So this whole, anything that you do in the name of righteous revenge when a girl's dumped you is okay. And that was getting claps and whistles, and it was either advertently or inadvertently being glorified. And it is at that point that I said, I want to make a film where I have the same song, and incidentally we did shoot that song at the Girlfriend, which is not there. I took it out after the first cut because I realized it's not working.
Where was the supposed to
So
be placed?
if you remember that scene where he manhandles her,
Right.
he's got drumsticks in his hand, another boy's got a guitar, another boy's got a plate, and another boy's got a dustbin. So it's like oka song la kaakunda, a bunch of boys who've written their own lyrics and are playing their own instruments and chasing her through that hostel, singing it in a very cold way. And then I was like, no, it doesn't work in this film. incidentally, that was the seed thought. So when this movement in cinema was happening, I said, someday I want to make a film that has the same song, but instead of claps and whistles, I want to turn the camera the other side and make people uncomfortable. So this film came from that thought. And once that thought hit my head, I remembered that incident I saw. And from there, incidentally, Vikram's character came first in my head. And the first thing I thought of was, a Vikram, at that age, at 21, 22, where he lacks serious life experiences, and if he's been raised a certain way, and if he's been exposed to, everything else is imaginary. This had nothing to do with that incident I saw. Everything else is imaginary. So if that Vikram has been exposed to a certain kind of parenting and a certain kind of environment at home, what chance does he have? Yeah. He is going to be like Vikram, exactly like Vikram.
He's a product of his upbringing. Yeah.
He doesn't stand a chance, and hopefully one experience like a Bhuma would slowly but steadily change him, make him a better person. So I said, I want to make a film where a Vikram looks at this film. So I said, what is the issue here? Because if somebody is breaking up with you, they're actually doing you a favor, right? ఒకరికి మన మీద ప్రేమ లేనప్పుడు వాళ్ళతో రిలేషన్షిప్లో ఉండి మనకి మాత్రం ఏముంటుంది దాంట్లో అసలు? వీ కాంట్ బి హ్యాపీ ఐదర్. It's wrong if someone doesn't break up with you and they start 2-timing or 3-timing you. Yeah. But if someone's breaking up with you, they're doing you a favor. They're doing it because they're clearly not in love with you. So why would you forcibly hold on to that person? And for a lot of Vikrams, I've spoken to a lot of boys who've been dumped, right? And for a lot of them, what they can't wrap their head around is, but I'm a fantastic boyfriend. How can she not love me? How can she break up with me? So I said, I want to make a film where I will write this Vikram and I will tell this story from the point of view of the girl, and hopefully it will help him understand, Vikram ఈ సినిమాలో ఒక డైలాగ్ చెప్తాడు, నేను ఎప్పుడైనా తిట్టానా, కొట్టానా, మోసం చేశానా అంటాడు. వాడి దృష్టిలో ఈ 3 చేయలేదు కాబట్టి నేను ప్రపంచంలో బెస్ట్ బాయ్ ఫ్రెండ్. నువ్వు ఇదంతా కాదురా, ఇది దాటి ఒకటి ఉంటుంది. సో దెన్ ఫ్రమ్ దేర్ కేమ్ వాట్ షుడ్ బి ద డైనమిక్ బిట్వీన్ ద బోత్ ఆఫ్ దెమ్, వాట్ నేచర్ ఆఫ్ ఇన్కంపాటబిలిటీ షుడ్ ఐ ఎక్స్ప్లోర్. So then one by one everything started falling in place, and then Bhuma happened, and then Bhuma's arc happened. So that's how the whole thing came together. But the seed thought was this.
The scene where the friends try to confront him makes a lot of sense now.
Right.
The friend telling that you're not looking for her, you're looking for someone like her. That's a film that's a point that you keep seeing that, right? You keep saying, I need a girlfriend like my mom.
Right.
Someone who takes
credit
care
to
of
Arvind
me
sir
like,
for that. Because my first draft didn't have it. I always felt it was implied, it's understood.
No, it's not actually.
Yeah. So he said, no, get someone, whoever it is you want, get someone to tell him that he's wrong. So then I was like, it'll be very touching if this girl who's isolated, he's meticulously cut everyone out of her life and she's so lonely. It'll be very touching if someone from his own side becomes a Vibhishana and is able to stand up to him and question him, and the girl doesn't even know about it. I felt, I choostunte naaku oka, and Pandu, his name, and in the film, he's getting claps. When he finally confronts Vikram, people are going bonkers in the theater. So I'm like, yeah, credit to Arvind sir for that scene. It wasn't there in my first draft. So, yeah.
Now speaking of the breakup scene, that is a scene that's getting a lot of claps and cheers, because when she says Vikram, when she finally summons that courage to make that statement, it's like you can feel like a sigh of relief in the theater. Ammaya ipuda inka agutadra vidi torture, like she's finally out of this anedi. People are feeling that in
never in my life would I have thought that's a clap worthy moment. So today when like the theater spontaneously erupts, like who will think anta subtle ga అమ్మాయి I want to break up with you in English లో చెప్పే డైలాగ్ కి మాస్ థియేటర్ ఇరప్ట్ అవుతుందని ఎవరు అనుకుంటారు బ్రో? నేనైతే అనుకోలేదు.
అండ్ నాకు అన్నిటికంటే ఓకే ఈ పాయింట్ చెప్పేసి నేను ఐ విల్ కమ్ దేర్. దిస్ ఈస్ సంథింగ్ దట్ ఐ హావ్ బీన్ థింకింగ్. ఓకే, వాట్ ద గై క్లింగ్స్ ఆన్ టు ఈస్ హర్ మెన్షనింగ్ దట్ he has arrears. He has arrears. And his question is, wasn't she aware when she was dating me? Like, wasn't she aware of my arrears? Did you have a version in mind where she like points out that I don't want to end up like your mother? I've seen your mother. I don't want to be in a place. Maybe that would have been like, I was thinking, because had she mentioned that, like, I'm scared that I'm gonna end up like your mother, then maybe it would have made that guy think something else, right? Instead of clinging on to the arrear and his career.
So it's fascinating, the response to that scene. Okay, there's all kinds. If you think of that scene and if you break it down again beat by beat, he's suddenly coming and telling a girl, let's go get married day after tomorrow. And she's agitated. She's like, what do you mean? I'm wondering how to patch things up with my dad. I go do something like that, I lose my dad forever. So she's palpitating. And this guy is very calmly saying, I'll take care of you, you'll be with my mother, everything will be fine. And then suddenly the next panic happens, which is, what about my course? And he very casually, he confronts the father and says, enta worst father veera nuvu. For saying, చదువు ఆగిపోయినా పర్లేదు తీసుకెళ్తానంటున్నావు. And he very casually says, లిటరేచర్ డిగ్రీ చేసి నువ్వు ఏం సాధిస్తావు అంటే. And that's when she realized, oh my god. And he very casually says, నేనున్నా కదా, నేను చూసుకుంటా నిన్ను. So as a reflex out of annoyance and irritation, in that agitated state, she feels the pain saying it. And I told Rashmika, it's very, very crucial. You're almost on the verge of choking and breaking into tears when you say it. It's not something you take pleasure in. Don't say it like you're insulting him. Say it like you deeply care about him and you care about that. So she's almost crying when she says, నిన్ను ప్రతిసారి క్లియర్ చేయి నువ్వు పట్టించుకో అంటది. ఎంత బాగా చేసిందో రష్మిక. And why I wrote that scene, why I wanted it that way is the one typical thing I've seen in breakups is that there'll always be two sides to a story. And it's fascinating because you go hear one side of the story, you'll think, that the other person is a terrible person. You go hear the other side, you'll be like, oh, wait a minute. How do I feel about this now? And I've always noticed in breakups that people cling on to the one reason which paints a picture where they are the victim and the other person is the villain. It's the most natural thing in the world. I'm not even judging it. It's the most natural thing in the world. And I also wanted to emphasize how shallow Vikram's understanding of Bhuma is. And I'm fascinated by how many people perceive that scene exactly like Vikram does.
Right.
Because what happens after that? He says, ante nu nannu pelli cheskova. Because he thinks, I have backlogs, she's not going to marry me. And she's like, oh my god, that's not what it is, Vikram. How do I even explain to this boy? And she has another onset of a panic attack. So she starts walking up and down. So I was telling Rashmika, play it like, people have already seen you have one panic attack once. And I have a throwback to the same notes of the music. And she starts, there's an onset of, she's like, what do I tell him? How do I tell him? And then she realizes, okay, let me first gather myself. And she sits down. And very carefully, precisely choreographed and fantastically executed by Rashmika, where if you notice how the graph of her expressions changes, one is, అరే వీడికి నేను ఏం చెప్పాలి, ఎలా చెప్పాలి, ఏం అర్థం కాదు. And then she looks away. And she calms down. She makes a decision. కానీ చెప్పాలి. ఇప్పుడు చెప్పకపోతే నేను ఏమి చెప్పలేక ఐ గాట్ స్టక్ ఇన్ అ రిలేషన్షిప్. ఏమి చెప్పలేక అది ఇక్కడ దాకా వచ్చింది. మా నాన్నకు తెలిసిపోయింది. మా నాన్న నా ఫోన్ ఎత్తట్లేదు. ఐ డోంట్ నో ఇఫ్ ఐ హ్యావ్ అ ఫ్యూచర్ విత్ మై ఫాదర్. ఇప్పుడు చెప్పకపోతే అవుట్, నేను వీడికి చెప్పాల్సిందే. అండ్ దెన్ షీ టర్న్స్ బ్యాక్ అండ్ లుక్స్ ఎట్ హిమ్. She takes a pause, she looks at him, Vikram standing there looking vulnerable because he doesn't understand why she's agitated. And you'll see suddenly compassion come to her eyes.
She makes him sit down.
Because when she sees him, she realizes, shit, but if I tell him now, I'm going to hurt him. And she feels bad. And she feels sorry for him. So she gets up. She comes gently to him, makes him sit down. She kneels down in front of him. She looks up at him. And in the most compassionate way possible, she says what she says. And that is the reason she breaks up with him. Not the backlogs. Most people get it. Only some people, like Vikram, hang on to the backlogs. And it's fascinating because I wrote it specifically that way because I knew a guy like Vikram would hang on to the backlogs. He will come, everything else she said. నాకు నువ్వు ఆ రోజు ముద్దు పెట్టావు, తర్వాత ఏదేదో జరిగిపోయింది, ఏం నాకు నా లైఫ్లో ఏం కావాలో అర్థం కాలేదు, ఊపిరి ఆడట్లేదు. ఇంకొన్ని లైన్స్ కూడా ఉండి ఎడిట్లో ట్రిమ్ చేశా. షీ సేస్ ఇట్స్ లైక్ ద హోల్ వరల్డ్ ఇస్ స్పిన్నింగ్ అరౌండ్ మీ అండ్ ఐ డోంట్ హ్యావ్ కంట్రోల్. And that is why she breaks up with him. That goes bouncer. And it's fascinating how for a lot of people that goes bouncer.
Yeah.
They don't hang on to that. Like Vikram, I knew a Vikram would hang on only to backlogs.
Backlogs.
ఎందుకంటే వాడి మైండ్ సెట్లో వాడి పాయింట్ ఆఫ్ వ్యూలో దట్ ఈస్ ది ఓన్లీ సినారియో ఇన్ విచ్ హీ ఈస్ ద విక్టిమ్ అండ్ షీ ఈస్ ద విలన్. సో హీ కమ్స్ అవుట్ అండ్ ఇఫ్ యూ నోటీస్ హీ కమ్స్ అవుట్ ఆఫ్ ద డోర్ అండ్ హీస్ హ్యావింగ్ అ రియలైజేషన్ లైక్ వెయిట్ బ్యాక్లాగ్స్ ఉన్నాయని నన్ను నాతో బ్రేకప్ చేస్తావా. And suddenly that justifies all the revenge that he's going to take on her. He's going to unleash on her. It just in his head. It's not justified. In his head, it suddenly becomes righteous revenge. So that was the thinking. And since we got to that scene, I wrote it. I was shooting it. On the day I was shooting it, I realized there's a parallel. And I said, I need to avoid using this at any cost in my future scripts, which is happened purely subconsciously and instinctively. In Sheila So, Ruhani says, oh, వెళ్తున్నావా వెళ్ళు అంటది. And she slams the door. He goes in like, అరే నువ్వే కదా ఇప్పుడు ఇంత క్లాస్ పీకేసి తిట్టేసి పంపించావు అని చెప్పి వాడు నువ్వే కదా చెప్పావు నువ్వు ప్రతిసారి రావడం నాకు నచ్చుతుంది ఆ నచ్చడం నాకు. And then he realizes and he's like, oh, did she actually mean she likes me? And he tries to knock on the door and the door opens. He realizes she's left it open for him. He realizes she needs him to take that step inside and come to her. Here, the first thing I was shooting it.
Closed here. Yeah.
I was shooting it like, hey, this is second time nu vadutunnav malli ekkada vaadakudadu. For me, it was there in the script. He walks out and she bolts the door. That to me was a sure shot sign of she does not and will not let him back in her life. It just, you see that visual, there is no room for things to get better between them. So so I was like, when I was shooting, I was like, I should make sure I don't use doors again as a metaphor to reflect the state of mind of a person again. So
I was kind of scared that she'd get back together.
No chance.
ekkado chota, because first time చెప్పకుండా అయిపోద్ది. Maybe మళ్ళీ వచ్చేస్తుంది, because I've seen people,
unfortunately
I've seen people,
many people,
and who go back to their
if I was making a web series, for example, I would have made her reconsider, get emotionally blackmailed into giving him another chance. But I'm making a film.
Increase the torture.
I can't
make it more suffocating annattu.
I can't make a 3.5 hour film with something so dark and intense. So I didn't have the space for that.
I also loved that whole sequence where she's trying to convince herself that she's in a relationship.
Right.
I loved that, the way it starts in the washroom. Akada, I had even mentioned this in my review. You cut right after she smiles.
Right.
Like literally a cut, and it's a very small smile, right?
Right.
It's a split second smile.
But you know for sure that smile didn't linger, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, it didn't linger.
Yeah.
Smile
so
అయిపోయింది.
It is even more interesting to cut without showing that it didn't linger, because I know people get it.
Yeah. And then she's coming and everyone is telling her, like everyone is congratulating her. It's like, I think Rashmika killed it in that scene. What was your brief, especially with that smile?
So I was just this is what I do with her always, just taking her through the whole scene and trying to put her in Booma's mind and body and soul. So I was telling her, you're this girl who's, because of how you were raised and how scared you are of upsetting your father, you've probably never experienced physical intimacy with a boy. So on one hand, you're dealing with the fact that you just had your first brush with physical intimacy with a boy, and on the other hand, you're like, what is the consequence of this now? What does it mean now? Was that all there was to it, or is there going to be more? You're dealing with all this, and then your friend comes, and to your shock and horror, to your absolute petrified horror, you realize the whole college knows. And she says, andariki ela telisindi, is what she says. And then you're so confused, because I remember in the last interview we did, I remember telling you why she's not in touch with her own feelings. So there's a bunch of things happening here, she can't process them, she doesn't understand what she's happening. So she's used to reacting. She's used to reflecting the mood of the other person. She's used to just echoing and Tamillo jalra antaru kada. She's used to being that. So suddenly she's like, this girl's now happy for me. She's hugging me and like shaking me. She's like, boo, you're committed. She's excited for me. What am I supposed to do? So maybe I should be polite and give her a smile. So you give her a smile. I don't want that smile to reach your eyes.
Right.
And let that smile immediately fade away. Because like, no, wait, why are you making me? Booma out of habit reacts the way another person wants it to react. But no, that's not what she's feeling. Rashmika nailed it, and how, bro? So from there she comes out. She's like, how am I supposed to deal with this now? Shit, is the whole college going to think bad of me? Will everyone? She knows how her father will react if he gets to know this. That is her biggest horror. So she's thinking, no, everybody will react like that. Everybody will think I'm a horrible person, or I'm of loose character, or everybody is going to think I'm a slut. Shit, what am I going to do? Is what she's going through when she's coming out, and she's frozen literally, emotionally. When suddenly people are actually coming and doing the opposite. They're like, hey, Booma, this, that. And she's like, okay. On one hand, I'm dealing with the fact that I don't like this. I don't even know why he kissed me. I didn't want to be kissed. I don't know what the consequences of that are going to be. But my bigger, more immediate fear is that, is the whole college going to think I'm of loose character? Is the whole college going to think I'm a slut? What if my dad gets to know? But ఆ వరికి ఒక రిలీఫ్ లాగా అందరు ఆపోజిట్ రియాక్ట్ అవుతున్నారు. సో యూఆర్ లైక్, ఓ, సో మేబీ ఐ డోంట్ నీడ్ టు వరీ దాట్ మచ్. బట్ I want to see in your eyes that you're not comfortable with it also. So this is how I talk to Rashmika. She'll just sit and listen. And then she'll give me everything I told her. She's such an intuitive actor. And she used to keep telling me, nobody talks to me like this. I love words. I hang on to words. It's amazing. So I loved how she responded to how I naturally like to direct an actor. She loved how I liked directing her. We were a perfect fit that way. So then I was telling her, so with each passing person, suddenly you're, wait, so what are the consequences of this? Is slowly taking a back seat, and you're relieved that, okay, at least the college isn't going to think I'm a slut, I'm of loose character, is taking precedence. And whether you're okay with it or not, it's at least for a person who can't react, respond, speak up and stand for yourself, this seems like a convenient solution. So what is the natural extension of that solution? To not fight what people believe.
Right.
That I might as well accept that I'm his girlfriend now. Because in that moment she's not given enough time to muster courage.
Yeah.
So వాడు వచ్చి తినేది ఇంకా, సో అయితే మనం ఏం చేద్దాం, మన గర్ల్ ఫ్రెండ్ అని ఒప్పుకుందామా వద్దా, ఒప్పుకుంటే ఇప్పుడు ఎవరు నా గురించి తప్పుగా అనుకోరు అని ఒక స్మైల్ వస్తుంది,
రిలీఫ్, వెంటనే ఆ స్మైల్ పోతుంది. కానీ ఒప్పుకోవాలా, ఇదంతా జరుగుతుంటే మనోడు సడన్ గా వచ్చి చేయి పెడతాడు, పెట్టి హాయ్ గర్ల్ ఫ్రెండ్ అంటాడు, హాయ్ వైఫ్ అంటది. సో that's how we discussed that scene and took her through it. So that was beautiful. But nagunna inkoka doubt.
I'm so sorry, I didn't answer one pertinent question you raised, because it's a question a lot of people raise.
Okay.
And I want to answer that, which is about the breakup scene. You said, was there ever a version where she tells him two things? Instinctively she knows it is going to be bouncer of the century, like Curtly Ambrose bouncer in Sabina Park on day 1.
A reference that I really don't understand because I don't follow cricket.
Never mind.
Okay, let's go.
If she tries to explain to him why the fact that he sees his mother in her is now scary for her. వాడికి అర్థం కాదు, ఇంపాసిబుల్. ఇన్స్టింక్టివ్లీ తనకు తెలుసు. రెండోది, that turn back and look at him, last thing she wants to do is hurt him. That's how empathetic and compassionate a person she is. She knows she's going to hurt him, and she wants that blow to land as softly as possible. So she doesn't want to blame him for anything. 2, this is the discussion I had with Rashmika. I said, deep down you also know, and this is the difference between you and Vikram. This is why you're the hero of my story. Your ability to retain your dignity, even when it is extremely difficult to do so, is you know that you froze when he kissed you, even though you didn't want it. And it's very carefully choreographed. If you look closely enough, you know she didn't want to be kissed there. But she couldn't resist it. You know you froze and you couldn't run away. You know the next day morning you couldn't come and slap him and say, how dare you tell the whole college. And you know, as twisted as it sounds, you allowed this relationship to happen.
Yeah.
No, you don't want to suddenly turn around and blame only him.
Yeah.
You want to take your share of the blame in allowing that relationship to happen. That is how good a person you are. That is how much compassion you have. So you don't ever bring up any of those things. Was my specific brief to her. You don't blame him for anything in this relationship. You only say why you want out of it.
Right.
And that will be more compassionate. And it was also an opportunity for me because I'm handling a very tricky subject here. I know it is going to be difficult for me to get large sections of the audience to side with Booma.
Yeah.
Right? I knew it was a
Really?
great... Huh?
You thought it was difficult to get them
I
side with
definitely
Booma?
thought so.
Really?
Definitely thought so because I saw
I thought-
responses to some films that I thought were actually open to different interpretations. They were interpreted only in one way. And
No, but
people were clapping and cheering for all the wrong scenes.
Yeah, but something like a girlfriend, I think right from the first scene,
For you, we'll get to that.
yeah, which is why I think
For you.
because I was like on her side from the first
For
scene.
you. For
Okay,
you.
okay.
We'll get to that. So I said, here is a great opportunity for me to make all the boys in the auditorium fall in love with Booma the way she breaks up with him. And I literally had, before the film released, when we showed the film to some people in the team and all that, I literally had two boys blurt out, "Are nato ila breakup chepte nenu gudi kattestara babu. Paapam enta sweet ammai." I knew my job was done. I knew, okay. And now coming back to your question, you will be surprised how many people I knew step by step. I knew there are some people who will straight away not like him. In the police scene, it's the scene where he bashes the cop. People like you, I knew. And I knew they would criticize me for the film being too in your face and on the nose and Vikram being too one note.
Yeah.
You will be shocked the number of people who until the door scene in the second half thought he did nothing wrong.
Really?
The number of people. You will be shocked at the number of people who for the first half an hour, 40 minutes kept clapping and laughing for everything Vikram
Even
was
for
doing.
the scene he goes after the boyfriend and slaps him.
They thought it was
The
heroic.
boyfriend, the friend.
They thought it was heroic.
Okay.
They thought he did nothing wrong there. So many people.
This was in the test screenings.
Not test screenings, but a lot of people we were showing it to and things like that.
Okay.
I thought the first time it will be very clear even to those audiences that that's not the side the director and the writer is taking, will be after the play scene. After the play scene.
That is such a, what do you
That's
call
a
it?
hammer
Such
blow,
a
you think,
demeaning
right?
scene that
You think
yeah,
so, right?
It's very demeaning.
You think so, right?
Yeah,
No, I
it's
will tell
very
you,
demeaning.
There were
That
plenty
pissed
of...
me off big time. Like,
Correct.
I'll tell you why it pissed me off, because it used to happen to me. Not from my partners, but I hate people like that.
Right.
When you are rejoicing something and suddenly they come and tell you that
You're a killjoy.
this is not because of you or you don't deserve it, that really pisses me off.
Yeah.
So when that is coming from someone who's supposed to love you, that's like a
Nothing hurts
fuck
worse.
him. Yeah.
So I will tell you, there is a large number of people who felt sorry for Booma in that scene, but they weren't shocked by what Vikram did.
Bro, that was attacking, bro. That was literally, that
they
was like
weren't
an
shocked by him.
attack.
They still didn't think he was irredeemable.
Okay.
So I knew I was handling a tricky subject. In fact, one of my earliest creative choices that I know I will regret 10 years later was when I wrote this script in 2020 Jan. One of the first thing I told myself was, I am going to write Booma like a Virgin Mary, because that is the only way I will get certain sections of the audiences to side with her. Otherwise, it's not going to happen. The same story, if it happens to Durga, is still as valid, is still as wrong. But there is going to be a big crowd who's going to clap and cheer for the wrong scenes and is not going to take Durga's side. Which is why I said I'm going to write Booma like a Virgin Mary. Because for some people, I don't blame them. It's just, again, conditioning and the environment in which you are raised. If you are not a Virgin Mary, you go straight to the other extreme, which is a whore. And you deserve it. There is no in between. So, I know 10 years later, when the world moves past these extremes, I will cringe at that creative choice.
No, it won't. Don't worry.
Hopefully.
The world won't.
I am worried.
Yeah, it
Why would I
won't.
not worry? I am worried if
it
it,
won't.
even after 10
It's
years
only
we don't
gonna get
past.
worse. Don't worry. It's only gonna get
Hopefully
worse.
not.
Yeah.
But so one of my first earliest writing choices in the film was I will write Bhuma like a Virgin Mary, exactly how men love girls and exactly the only kind of women they will respect. Certain sections. I'm not, and I don't even say this judgmentally. I understand it. So when certain critics point this out like, but so one note, we expected more nuance from Rahul.
Black and white is the word I
Why
use.
so black and white? I'm like, you don't know the trick, how tricky the screen plays, and you don't know the problems I'm dealing with.
I'm still surprised because
Like for example, so in 2020 Jan when I wrote the script, I took this call, this creative call. 2023 or whenever Baby released, and I watched the film in a theater, and I noticed where for which scenes the majority was clapping for. I said I took the right call. I said I'm not changing that. I will make her a Virgin Mary. In fact, I will even more faultlessly make her a Virgin Mary. So yeah. Anyway, never mind. Yeah.
Okay. No, I'm surprised. నాకు అందుకే వన్ ఆఫ్ ద థింగ్స్ ఐ ఫెల్ట్ వాజ్ బ్లాక్ అండ్ వైట్గా ఉండింది స్టార్టింగ్ నుంచే. దెర్ ఇస్ నో, అసలు వీడికి రిడీమింగ్ ఫ్యాక్టర్ లేదు అన్నట్టు నాకు అనిపిస్తుంది. లైక్ దిస్ గై హాస్ బీన్ అన్ యాసోల్ ఫ్రమ్ ద ఫస్ట్
Bro,
సీన్.
very first scene, the song playing is Erra Janda. Okay, right there I'm giving you a hint. However, if you notice the first half an hour of the film, it is written in a structure where literally every scene is a cliche. Every scene is a scene you've seen in 1500 meet cutes. Guy going and hitting another man for the girl, protecting her. Guy walking into a girl's room when she's not there and showing it as
creepy.
cute.
That's
It is
creepy.
extremely creepy.
Yeah.
Nobody batted an eyelid.
I was telling my
He
friend,
put a smile on their face.
ఏదో రొమాంటిక్ మ్యూజిక్ వేసేసారు కానీ it's creepy కదా అని అంటుండే.
So that music,
yeah.
listen to the lyrics. Now go listen to the lyrics of the song. Now go listen to why, even though it sounds like a peppy romantic song, there's a dark underbelly to that song.
Okay.
Now you will understand. It's a song that talks about. You go listen to that song again.
And ఈ సీన్ నేను చూస్తున్నప్పుడు అనుకున్నది which is
By the way,
this guy.
there is so sorry to cut you.
పర్లేదు.
Every single time Vikram enters a space that either belongs to Bhuma or a space where Bhuma is currently there, you'll see these are things I never do in my films because I cringe at it. I was like, hey. But here I felt like somewhere it's needed because I'm not sure. I'll at least create that effect of red in the background. There'll be some red fabric in the background. I cringe.
In the first scene, in the scene where he's question చేసి boyfriend, in the scene where he
I made him wear red because I couldn't put red fabric anywhere.
Why is Rahul doing all this? This is so on the face కదా అనేది was my.
Because of this. Because for the longest time in the movie, now the narrative is set.
Yeah.
Now everybody knows it's about a toxic relationship and all that 3 days after release. So now people are going in knowing he's a red flag. But I knew on day one what was more important for me than Venkat Srikar saying, Rahul's written a very nuanced screenplay, is people siding with the right character in the film. And the largest section possible. It was more important for me to shape perception of the two characters a certain way. So I said, I can't afford any room for the wrong intention coming through. Because I've seen it happen in multiple films. So I said, if it is going to be on your face, let it be in your face. If it's going to be on the nose, let it be on the nose. If it's going to be one note, let it be one note. Because even now I know it's not one note for a lot of people. They're like, "Pad anta tappem chesadu." Even now. So.
Okay, sarela cinema is.
Yeah, fair enough. I don't know if I'm right or wrong, but I can only explain the rationale behind my creative choice.
Right.
So, yeah.
And why did you make the father react? Manam, extending the black and white topic, the final breaking point arrives when even the dad kind of, shuts his door. So I was expecting a little compassion perhaps. See, from a storytelling perspective, you need to push her to that point. So you might have used dad. But I was thinking, why is every man in this film, like why is everyone who's like a significant part of Bhuma's life, why are they being so...
I'm so glad you brought it up.
Yeah.
There are 4 recurring male characters in the film. Okay? It's unbelievable how many people ask me this question. We need to check our own biases. Out of the 4 recurring male characters, it is an exact 50-50 split.
Two nice guys, the professor and the friend.
Pandu, in my opinion, is the nicest fucking character in the whole film.
Pandu is that guy's friend.
The friend.
But they barely interact, right?
Who?
Pandu and Booma.
So they might barely interact, but he's a recurring male character.
He's not that significant in her life is what I feel.
Maybe not that significant, but he gains a lot of significance by the end of the film because of that one scene. Who questions Vikram and stands up to him and confronts him for the first time in the film is a man.
Okay.
Why are people not seeing that? Who, and if you notice, I do very, very subtly build him up, where he's the one, there's 5 people sitting in that table, Vikram sitting right next to Booma in the song. He's the one who notices food on Booma's plate is over and he serves her. He's the one who likes a sensitive film like Hi Nana. Nobody else in the gang does.
Yeah.
He's the one who, in that breakup scene where these boys believe Vikram for what he's saying, that bitch broke up with him because he has backlogs, they start adding fuel to the fire. They're just being good friends. What do they know? They've only heard one side of the story. వాళ్ళు చెప్పాల్సింది చెప్పేస్తున్నారు. వీడు మాత్రం ఏం చెప్తాడు? కామ్ డౌన్ రా అంటాడు. అంతకుమించి ఏం చెప్పడు.
Even in the scene, in the tree scene,
he's the one who
he observes her for a few seconds. Yeah.
So I am building up to it, but he assumes a lot of importance in the story because he is the only character in the film that confronts Vikram. So there's a 50-50 split, first of all. Secondly, like I said, I wrote Vikram with a lot of affection. I wrote this film in the hope that I get you, Vikram, at your age because of how you were raised. నువ్వు ఇలాగే ఉంటావు. ఈ సినిమా చూసి నీకు పర్స్పెక్టివ్ వస్తుంది. నేను సినిమా రాస్తున్నా, చాలా అఫెక్షన్తో రాస్తున్నా విక్రమ్ మీద. So I am not writing a film to humiliate Vikram or make a villain out of him. And you will see it in a lot of the creative choices I make. Like there was a massive argument on the edit table saying, after Booma comes with the guitar and stops, why are you never cutting back to Vikram? I cut once to him to show he's fallen down. And that is to establish the geography so that she can look down on him and my camera can go down and show her for the hero she is. And that camera went up over her eye line around the 20th minute in the film. And except one scene, it never goes down below her eye line again until that climax.
Right.
It's always slightly above her eye line.
Dominance.
So to establish that geography, I make him fall down once and show it to you. After that, I never cut to Vikram. You know why? There was వాటి రియాక్షన్ కట్ చేయాలి కదా, కట్ చేయాలి అంటే అప్పుడే కమర్షియల్ సినిమా, అప్పుడే సాటిస్ఫాక్షన్ కుదరదు నాకు. I don't want to show Vikram being humiliated because I don't want Vikrams in the theatre to think I'm making a film to make a villain out of him. I want Vikrams to go home and think and change. I am not making a film to crucify a Vikram and judge him. So I said I won't show Vikram being humiliated. I won't cut to him. I didn't even shoot it. My cameraman asked me. I said, edit table మీద గొడవ వస్తుంది, నేను షూట్ కూడా చేయను. షూట్ కూడా చేయలేదు. And not just this, there are many creative choices I make where you can see that as a writer I have empathy for him. I get it. Like there was massive arguments within the team that we should take out Vikram coming and crying outside the door saying, అంత నీకోసమే చేశాను భూమా, నువ్వు నన్ను లవ్ చేసావా, టైం పాస్ చేసావా. We should take out the scene where he's smashing his room and crying. I said, it has to be there. They said, why? Vikram మీద సింపతి వచ్చేస్తుందని భయం వేస్తుంది. Imagine, Vikram మీద సింపతి వచ్చేస్తుందని భయం వేస్తుంది. And you are saying he's one note. So imagine.
Right.
I said,
There's
no.
a massive difference here.
There you go.
The way people are processing it.
So I said to all the boys sitting in the theatre, I understand the pain he feels. I acknowledge it. And as a writer-director, I will show it unflinchingly. I get you, my boy. Come, I'll give you a good hug. I get it. But it is still wrong to go make her suffer for it. It's the film I'm making, right? So if I make that film without showing that Vikram's suffering is there and it is true, then I'm making a one-sided film. I empathize with you. I respect you. I respect that you're in pain. I get it. I will unflinchingly show it. And yet what you're doing is wrong. So I said, I will not take that scene out. Sympathy vachestadi, sympathy vachestadi. That is how scared they were. Sympathy vachestadi. Imagine, that late in the film. So I said, no. So there are lots of other creative choices like this where I actually have empathy for Vikram. I want him to, I'm making a film in the hope that he will watch this film and change. Rashmika used to keep telling me, I'm making this film because I know how many boomers are going through nasty, humiliating breakups. I want this film to be therapy for them. I want them to feel like they've been seen, heard and hugged. I used to keep saying, I am making this film so that at least 5 Vikrams will go home and think. Whether they change or not is in my hands. Is not in my hands. But I want them to go home and think. And I'd like to think today from the reactions I've gotten that there's been far more than 5.
Yeah.
And that happens because of lots of the creative choices I make, including him being one note. Whatever. So again, I'm not justifying it. I'm not saying I'm right. It's just how I chose to make this film. So maybe it is inferior. Maybe, I don't know, I could have made a better film. I don't know.
No, it's not about making the film better or not. It's just a very personal thing because I come from a certain I have my experiences and people who are watching it. There are 1,000 people sitting in a theater and watching a film. Each of them comes with their own experience.
I was trying to tell Murthy Garu the same thing. I think. Sorry, were you going to add to that?
No.
The one thing I'm realizing with this film, and I kind of had an instinct about it when I was writing it as well, is that, you know, the whole animus anima thing, right? We all have a bit of animus in us and we all have a bit of anima in us. What I'm realizing is everybody who is viewing this film through the lens of masculine logical thinking. By masculine, I don't mean gender masculine. You know how Carl Gustav Jung
basically.
Carl Gustav Jung separates masculine nature and feminine nature, and he says all of us have both in us.
Okay.
And that is animus and anima. By masculine, I don't mean toxic masculinity. So the masculine, more logical, problem-solving way of thinking, whoever is viewing this film through that lens has 1,500 problems with it. The reason you're getting reactions that are at the other extreme, where you see people blogging pages and pages, pouring their heart out, are all people, be it men or women, who are viewing it through the lens of anima. And it is not, I know that it won't work for people who view it through, I'm not blaming them. Sure, they have every right to view it how they want to. And I won't even defend it. I'm not going to justify myself to them. I respect it. But I had an instinct when I was writing the film. I can clearly see that shift now. I can see how some people, it is getting something primal out of them. They have a guttural reaction to the film. And how some people are like, So I get it. And I'm willing to live with both. It's okay.
No, but one thing that I was very curious about while watching the film, during that room scene, I know you are someone who has a lot of empathy in you. You look at the world in a very beautiful way, which kind of surprises me. It surprises me that you still have humanity left in you, that you are able to be so nice and kind, despite all the shit that you have to deal with. But the fact that you never let that hinder your humanity makes me really, really respect you.
Thank you, man.
Okay.
How sweet.
ఇంత జరిగాక in the sense నెగటివిటీ అదంతా చూసినప్పటికీ నెగటివ్ కమెంట్స్ పెట్టిన వాళ్ళకి కూడా you are replying and saying yeah bro I respect you.
Not all of them. Some people cross a line and upsets me.
That line,
I don't reply to that.
Yeah. But you have that patience.
I see hope that if I reply to this person, I might just make him think. That's when I reply.
I see that.
I see no hope, I don't reply.
Okay, and I really respect that in you.
Thank you.
So అందుకని ఈ సీన్ నాకు స్పెసిఫిక్ గా ఇబ్బంది పెట్టింది, which is the room scene, the room door scene.
Okay.
The fact that there isn't a single girl or a guy who stood up for Bhuma. Maybe this is how a normal, what do you call, మన మైండ్ అనిపిస్తుంది కదా, అరే 20 మంది ఉన్నారు, every one of them is giggling at her. It is such a low point for her. It's such public humiliation. Wasn't there one person in that crowd who could have probably stood up for her? I'm not talking about what follows after that. The person who comes to help her, that is there. I like that. But a moment low, did you think about this while writing?
I did. There's 2 instances. One instance is where the actual Soup song, which was the original title of the script. The original title of the script was Soup Song, where I had actually shot a Soup song and kept it, where she walks out of the hostel room and they start chasing her. I now cut straight to the manhandling scene. Earlier, the manhandling scene came at the end of the song. So in that scene where she realizes Vikram and his friends won't let her go to class, she turns and runs to another direction inside the hostel. If you notice, I cut to a bunch of reaction shots. Some of them giggling at her, Some of them just coldly zero empathy and finding it amusing. Like it's entertainment for them. Some of them actually feeling bad and saying, ఏంటిది తప్పు కదా ఎందుకు చేస్తున్నారు. There's that particular girl, and this was very carefully directed and choreographed. This girl, ఏంటిది, there'll be a girl who does this. It's not correct, no, what is this? But I don't give voices there. And somebody is just, without any expression with a poker face, recording it on video. You'll see all kinds of reactions. When it came to this scene, I am building up to something. Imagine how horrible it would have been on my part as a creative choice had I loosened up the tension by cutting to reaction shots. I actually told the crowd, some of you stand there staring at it seriously. You can't see it. Because in that tension, I didn't want to cut to them.
Right.
There I had the space where, as Booma's running in that other scene, where I show you all kinds of reactions. Here, I have already started Booma's heartbeat sound effect. At that point, it loosens up the dramatic tension if I cut to reaction shots. But I did tell the crowd, some of you feel uncomfortable and you're standing there and actually saying, what is this? Why are they doing this? Some of you are giggling, some of you are laughing, some of you are video recording. I did tell them this.
Okay.
But once she sees the door, it becomes such a personal moment. I assure you, even if you and I were standing there, we wouldn't know what to do and we wouldn't have disturbed her. And it just didn't make sense for someone to come up to her or put a hand on the shoulder. It is such a personal moment. And it is very moving and powerful when you see Booma react to that door. So it just felt like a stupid thing to do, to ask someone to come and put a hand on a shoulder, especially a character we haven't established. So, meeku ee question unte valid question maybe. I just felt there is no space for me to establish that different people are reacting differently in the crowd. And in my head, and I'm not joking, I'm not like doing cover drive now. In my head, I also thought of, there must have been some people who were repulsed by it who walked out of there. There would have probably even been some people who are walking on the way to the faculty block, half considering going and complaining. And in my head, if you notice, the film ends 2 hours after that. Okay, they go to the farewell party, immediately the film ends. In my head, there must have been people who actually went and complained. And in my head, after the climax, I am sure Vikram was taken out by the She team and probably counseled and probably made to face the consequences. He would have been punished for it. So, is there space for me in that dramatic scene to start showing that some people are actually empathizing? I felt it wasn't right. So, see, the problem is this 250 ways of making this film.
Yeah.
All of them are right, all of them are wrong. I can only pick what resonates with me.
And these are all realistic situations that we have seen happen, right? So automatically you feel, why didn't it go that way? Why didn't it go this way?
Like I read a review, okay? I empathize, I understand. I read a review which pointed out so many specific things about how this scene should have ended, how that scene should have begun, how this scene should be. Literally in my head I was like, sir, I respect the fact that the film may have not worked for you, but if you want these many specific changes, you only have to write the screenplay and give to me. I can't write the screenplay and direct the version that you want to see. So all I can do is make 1,000 creative choices per frame the way I feel my instincts are guiding me, or the way I feel is right. So sure, I respect that in a film like this, which is so open to interpretation, I'm going to get all kinds of reactions, and I'm okay with that. I make peace with that. So yeah.
So I loved the mother scene.
Thank you, man.
And I love the fact that it has some of these shots, like her experiencing her first the panic attack, the way the walls close down on her. How did you come up with these 2 instances of what do you call reflecting her headspace visually?
So the thing was that I was obviously going
actually so sorry to interrupt.
Yeah?
The scene with Rohini, the scene with the mother, it's kind of scary actually.
Yeah,
the close-up is scary.
Right.
The way she looks at the camera and the music and how suddenly it happens.
Right.
It's quite uncomfortable actually.
Yeah,
it's a bit horror, little horror touch.
I knew it would play out like a psychological thriller.
Yeah.
But I didn't expect the reaction I'm getting. Like, I didn't, it was like, inta reaction untada nenu kuda anukoledu.
She gives a very creepy smile also, right?
Yeah. Which is basically exactly how Rohini Garu smiles. That was That was the reason for that smile.
Creepy scene.
Yeah. So the whole idea is that when you're at the receiving end of a relationship like this, you could be a man, you could be a woman. the aggressions are so micro in nature, it takes a long time to even realize there is a pattern and these are aggressions. That you're actually suffering from toxicity or being at the receiving end of toxicity. So for people stuck in a relationship like that, it could be a man, could be a woman.
Right.
It takes a long time for you to even realize that something's not right. I'm actually not happy. And then when you realize it, gaslighters typically the really good ones, are very good at managing image and reputation, their own image and reputation. For most people, they'll be like, వాడితో నీకేం ప్రాబ్లం ఉంటుంది, ఎంత మంచోడు అంటారు. All their need to seize power and control and all their narcissism is directed only at the person they can control. They know how to project a very different person. They're not even projecting, it's probably their nature. They're projecting a very different person to the outside world. So lots of times that adds to the gaslighting where this person goes and says, but చాలా మంచోడు కదా, ఇలా అంటావేంటి అంటారు. And you stop. You can't say it anymore and you're wondering if you are wrong, if you're being neurotic and if there's something wrong with you. And slowly but steadily it starts becoming a silence. And that silence becomes a massive burden, which is why as a precursor of things to come, and because she's been suffering this silence from a young age with her dad, the first time you see Bhuma is as Bharam Mostuna Bhuma Devi. Right?
We discuss Sahanam kuda భూమికి ఎక్కువ
correct
ఉంటది, because
which is why the line also is Samadhaina Sahanam Samadhanam Adige in the Neede Kada song also. But anyway, so the idea was that the most painful thing about being stuck in a relationship like this is one inner silence that comes because you're helpless, you don't know how to express it. So these are two women who are at different stages of carrying that burden. One is just beginning to get used to it and the other has done it for so long, has been brainwashed for so long that she doesn't even realize there's another way to live life. In her head, after a certain age, you have to carry the burden of this silence. And I'm trying to have a communication between these two women. It just felt so wrong for them to give words to it.
Right.
I was like, no.
Right.
What they're suffering from is that silence. How can I make them talk about it? So then I said, I need to visually represent it. How do I do that? And from there, this idea of, honestly man, I didn't think it was that cool an idea.
No,
it came from necessity. So I didn't think it was that cool. Oh, people are going to like, wow.
I saw a fan-made poster, I guess. Like mirror lo a crack.
And most people are using that poster.
That's
now.
actually
what a poster.
Yeah, very good poster.
Whoever it was, I mean.
Yeah. Very naga choosing it. It felt like an A24 horror movie poster actually.
Interestingly, someone called me and told me this.
Really?
They said, bro, this is not a relationship drama. You made an A24 film and 7-8 years later, there'll be many more people making it and they'll say girlfriend is the OG. I was like, okay, thanks man, that sounds nice.
You know what? This is a problem that I have with some of the horror films, especially this A24 kind of horror films.
I wasn't intending to make an A24.
Yeah. Most of the horror films these days are becoming too realistic. I don't like that. You know, they're becoming too real. Like every horror film, if you take, it will talk about personal loss or a toxic relationship, something. I'm like, yeah, this horror is way too disturbing. Can't we just go back to gore? Can't we just go back to creepy creatures?
Jump scare.
Yeah. So,
but how good is Rohini Garu, Rashmika, Krishnan Vasat, my cinematographer, and Prashant Vihari.
Yeah.
Oof, and Chota. How good are they in that scene?
We were talking. I was talking to a friend saying, every Maniratnam fanboy, you know, tries to have that one mirror scene.
Really?
Yeah. Maniratnam fanboy somehow, because Maniratnam is mirror.
Oh yeah.
And I like how Rahul actually played it for his story and like mirror ni betti.
It didn't come from. Hey,
I know.
Old.
But the way
it came from necessity, like I said. I can't have them talking about it. So how do I communicate this? How do I communicate that Bhuma seeing her future in his mother? So then I felt like, hey, let me stage it this way where there's a single cut. I'm only focus shifting. There is no cuts and things like that. So, and at one point you realize the two are blending, and there's so many people who pointed out. This is the problem with the film. It's not effective because he could have stopped there, but he has to make Rashmika wear the same sari and overstate it. I'm like, it's okay. I thought it was a cool thing to do. Maybe I am an inferior filmmaker. I don't know.
No.
Maybe it's an inferior choice, but
No, it's not it's you need that for that.
I
moment
wasn't
to
even
land.
trying to underline it at that point. For me, it's like, but that is when it's completed. That is the effect I was going for. So, yeah.
So, and one more thing, like I personally am someone who loves people overcoming trauma, people overcoming grief, basically people winning in their life.
Me too, man.
Be it,
I mean, it's the most
be it
beautiful
any
thing to
film,
see.
be it you take a Sarpatta Paramare, you take a Karnan for instance, the characters go through a lot.
What a film.
And when they win, I want to see more happiness. Okay. Every time a film ends right after the character wins, I don't like it. I'm like, give me 5 more minutes. Give me 10 more minutes.
I hope what I gave you was enough.
Not enough.
Not enough?
Yeah, see, that's where I'm coming.
Okay.
That's where I'm coming. Because you struggle with the character for 2 hours. Okay. You see her go through all kinds of shit. You see her getting suffocated. And then she's winning in life. Why not, like, you ultimately want to talk about she gaining control of her life. Okay. She says that that line, right? Why are you studying MA literature annadaniki? I think she says that, right? That I want to
do for young children what other writers have done
to me, and I want to overcome that fear also on Jeppi.
By
So
the
she's
way,
overcoming that.
the last book that she's writing, I have a whole story ready for that also.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I created a story for it.
Okay.
So, anyway.
So she's overcoming fear. Okay, on paper it's great.
I have a story for the play also.
Okay.
It's called The Lady Pirates of Pearl Island. And I have a story for that play.
Is that not a...
It's not established because I trimmed all of that out.
Oh, I thought it was some of the Shakespeare and something like that.
No.
It's an original play.
I actually wrote like a story line for it. So,
Okay. So in the end, she's overcoming the fear, everything. But I really wish I really wish we saw her actually get those winning moments. Like, how did she fix her relationship with dad? I wanted to see her win a
Fair
bit
enough.
more.
Yeah.
Did you think of that?
No, my thinking was only that the release has happened in the climax. For me, there cannot be a bigger release than I've already fucked you.
Okay.
For me, that's it. It's done. And after that, it's merely like almost it's like a post-climax addendum.
Okay.
So, because Arvind sir also kept saying, I had 3-4 versions of the post-climax scene. Some were drastically different.
Like?
You want me to get into that?
Please.
Okay.
Why not?
So one version was she's working in some other country in Europe. By then it's been 6 years later, and she's working in a company in Europe, and she steps out of her office and she comes out on the street, and you're walking with her, and she freezes. And as she's walking out of the office, you see this confident, vibrant woman, and you're like, I can't recognize this woman, and you feel happy for her. She comes out and she freezes and she goes pale. Suddenly you see the old Booma, and the camera goes behind her shoulder, and they reveal Vikram standing there, and he's also frozen, and he's got a girl by his side.
Shit. Okay.
And he doesn't know what to say. This happened 6 years later. He doesn't know what to say. He just says, meet my wife. And she says, hello. Okay, bye. And he walks off. And they go turn the curb. And Booma's still standing here frozen. There's no color in her face. And then 30 seconds later, that girl who was with Vikram, his wife, comes running back. And she says, oh my God, he just told me you're Booma. And she holds her hands. And she says, I can't tell you how many times I wanted to meet you and give you a big hug. And Booma's still taking it in. She doesn't understand. She says, Vikram, the first thing he did was tell me about what he did to you. There isn't a day that goes by when he doesn't regret what he did to you. But because of you, I know you suffered, and I'm so sorry for that. And nobody can take that back. But because of you, I have the sweetest husband I could have asked for. I got into this blind without knowing what he's like because it was an arranged marriage. But I couldn't have asked for a better husband. And that happened because you came in his life. And my life is happy because of you. I've always wanted to give you a hug, and she hugs her. And Booma starts tearing up. She's like, she's so happy for that girl. And she says, thank you so much. This was one. And she walks off. And she walks off and joins Vikram again. This time in slow motion, Vikram takes his hand, But this time, instead of hugging her like this,
Yeah.
he puts his hand on the shoulder here gently. This was one. The second version of this was, this girl says, I have so much to tell you, can I take your phone number? And Boomer gives her the phone number. This girl comes running back. She comes to Vikram. And again in slow motion, Vikram's taking his hand, but he puts his hand the same way. And he says, number తీసుకున్నావా లేదా? And suddenly this girl looks like Boomer. And he says, తీసుకున్నాను. I said, Pada. I was like, what are you doing, man? ఇది థ్రిల్లర్ సినిమాలో ఉంది. అసలు
ఎందుకు అక్కడ దాకా బానే ఉంది
ఊరికే నాకు ఒక థాట్ వచ్చింది.
అక్కడ దాకా బానే
అది రాయగానే ఒక వర్షన్ రాసి చీచి ఈ సినిమాకి థ్రిల్లర్ ఎండింగ్ ఏంటని చెప్పి వెంటనే స్క్రాప్ చేశా. ఇలా ఒక 5-6 వర్షన్లు ఉన్నాయి ఆ లాస్ట్ సీన్ కి. ఫైనలీ ఫర్ సమ్ రీజన్ ఐ ఫెల్ట్ డోంట్ డ్రాగ్ ఇట్, బికాస్ you can't have a bigger release than I've already fucked you. Don't drag it. But Arvind sir kept saying, the last frame of the film, I want to see that girl smile. You put her through so much in the film.
Exactly.
I want to see her smile. So I was like, yeah, I like this last freeze. So I said, I'm going to go for a freeze frame where there's this beautiful radiant smile on her face, which is what I did.
Yeah.
So I wrote some 5-6 versions. So I didn't think I should stretch it out. Again, I don't know if it was the right choice or the wrong choice, but I didn't want to stretch it out
actually
too
people
much.
wouldn't have minded.
Maybe,
they would have
maybe.
been happy actually.
Maybe.
It would have been happy.
But my issue was that I was contemplating not having a post-climax. And
no,
everybody
no.
talked me into it. I was like, "Arey, antakanna high e untadi. I already fucked you kanna." They're like, "No." I was like, "Okay." So because I was there, I was like, "Arey, akkadto odaleyali." I was like, "Sarele, I'll keep it concise." So
And I was happy that there is that post-climax.
So that father thing, I understand. I knew when I was writing it that a lot of people like, "Huh? I want to know how it happened."
Yeah.
In my head, I'll tell you something, okay? I'm not saying it's right, I'm not saying it's wrong.
Mm.
For most people, no matter how your relationship with your parents is, you can't abandon them. I'm not saying it's right, I'm not advocating it.
Yeah.
I'm not discouraging it either. But you just can't. That's the truth. And I've seen so many people make peace, have a functional relationship with their parents and still take care of them because they know they're old and vulnerable and helpless and more importantly lonely. అది ఎక్కడో మనసు ఒప్పుకోదు. But I also wanted to show very clearly that the dynamic is shifted. That the child is now the parent and the parent is the child.
Yeah.
Where she's calling, it's almost like, how would you tell your child to wake up in the morning and go to school?
Exactly. Yeah.
అలా ఉంటుంది, నాన్న రేపు మీకు అపాయింట్మెంట్ ఉంది వెళ్ళిపోండి. ఇట్స్ లైక్, అమ్మ ఐ డోంట్ వాంట్ గో టు స్కూల్ టుడే లాగా, కానీ బాగానే ఉన్నా కదా ఇప్పుడు ఎందుకు అమ్మా అంటే నాన్న అంటే ఆల్మోస్ట్ లైక్ హౌ యూ టెల్ యువర్ చైల్డ్. హీ సేస్ ఓకే అమ్మా వెళ్తాను అండ్ హీ కాల్స్ హర్ అమ్మ. So I wanted to show that the dynamic is shifted and I hoped that people would fill in the blanks. That 2 years అయింది కదా, మెల్లగా ICE would have thawed and they would have reached a place where she functionally takes care of her father now, but she is now the parent. She's accepted him back in her life on her own terms, not his terms. So yeah, it's, again, I sense that a lot of people wanted more. Thought rale enduko. So yeah.
Why did you need Durga in the script? Like I understand what she's doing. So eventually she is important.
Yeah.
But what was the origin?
It came from, I wanted to show, I didn't want the first half to be just about Boomer slowly but steadily getting silenced by a toxic relationship.
So sorry to interrupt. The scene where he rejects her advances. Okay, when she's trying to kiss him and he's actually మంచోడే కనిపిస్తాడు ఆ పాయింట్ లో. ఆ పాయింట్ లో
if you think there is a redeeming quality, great. Then why are you criticizing me for writing Vikram 1?
No, I'm not
kidding.
I'm not but I'm saying in that scene
I'm kidding.
Like okay, you do what do you call, at least he has these morals అనే
అదే కదా వాడు నువ్వు చూస్తే బ్రో బైక్ లో హెల్మెట్ వేసుకోకుండా ఎక్కడు, సినిమాలో బైక్ లో ఉంటేనే హెల్మెట్ వేసుకుంటాడు. ఏంటి పీక్ ఇమోషన్ లో, నాన్న సీన్ అయిపోయాక పీక్ ఇమోషన్ లో కూడా హెల్మెట్ వేసుకుంటాడు. వాడేంటి హెల్మెట్ వేసుకుంటాడు, రూల్స్ ఫాలో చేస్తాడు, కానీ ఫ్రెండ్ డేంజర్లో ఉన్నాడని పట్టించుకోడు. బన్నీ హాప్ చేస్తాడు, వీలింగ్ చేస్తాడు, ఓవర్ స్పీడింగ్ చేస్తాడు. అమ్మాయిని తిట్టడు, కొట్టడు, మోసం చేయడు, కానీ ఎమోషనల్లీ అబ్యూస్ చేస్తాడు. విక్రమ్ ఇస్ అ లివింగ్ పారాడాక్స్ ఆఫ్ కాంప్లికేషన్స్. సో ఇట్ వాస్ కీపింగ్ కాన్స్టెంట్ విత్ దాట్. సో ఐ వాస్ లైక్, హీ ఈస్ అ లాయల్ గై. ఈవెన్ ఇఫ్ ఇట్స్ ద కాలేజ్ బేబ్, he won't succumb, he won't think from the nether world, he will think from here and say no, I will be loyal to my girlfriend. So in his head, I will be a loyal man to my girlfriend, I won't hit her, I won't scream at her, so I'm a great boyfriend. So he operates in black. His mindset operates in blacks and whites. I don't think I wrote in black and white. So, but anyway.
Okay. No, Durga.
Durga. So the idea was that I didn't want the first half to be only about Bhuma getting silenced and her identity getting erased. I also wanted to offer people glimpses of what she is like without the influence of a narcissist like that.
Right.
So if you notice, the film producer card, director card వచ్చాక it takes off 1 year later. So ఇప్పుడు దాకా నాన్న షాడోలో పెరిగిన అమ్మాయి కష్టపడి కన్విన్స్ చేసి బెక్ చేసి హైదరాబాద్ వచ్చేసింది. She formed this sweet little friendship with 2 people. So in that 1 year gap, in my head, she would have reached a safe space where she's able to express koncham. She's sort of come into her own. She hasn't learned to fly. She's not become a butterfly yet, but you can see the semblance of wings forming. So those 2, they don't push her, they don't challenge her, they may not help her grow, but -100లో ఉన్న అమ్మాయిని సేఫ్ జోన్లోకి తీసుకొచ్చి 0కి తీసుకొచ్చారు. విచ్ ఇస్ వై ఐ నోటిస్ అ కపుల్ ఆఫ్ పీపుల్ ఆస్క్డ్ మీ, దే సెడ్ ఆ ఫస్ట్ ఎయిడ్ చేసే సీన్ లో వెళ్ళి బాగానే ఎక్స్ప్రెస్ చేస్తుంది, కాన్ఫిడెంట్ గానే మాట్లాడుతుంది, మళ్ళీ సడన్ గా మళ్ళీ ఇంట్రోవర్ట్ అయిపోద్ది. బికాస్ ఆ 1 year ఈ వినయ్ అండ్ హర్షిత ఇన్ఫ్లుయెన్స్ వల్ల ఒక సేఫ్ స్పేస్ లో అక్కడ దాకా రావడం నేర్చుకుంది. అందుకే ఒక కర్టసీ, ఒక హ్యుమానిటీ వల్ల, అరే వాడు పిచ్చోడు, వాడిని ఫస్ట్ నేను కన్ఫ్రంట్ చేసి ఎవడు నేను దూరం అని అడగాలి, బట్ అట్ ద సేమ్ టైం ఎంతైనా పాపం మన కోసం వచ్చి తన్నులు తిన్నానంటే అట్లీస్ట్ వెళ్ళి ఒకసారి కర్టసీ కోసం చూడాలి కదా అని ఆ రూమ్కి వెళ్తుంది. అట్ దాట్ పాయింట్ ఆఫ్టర్ 1 year in college without the influence of her father and under the influence of Harshu and Vinay, she's developed that much. But the minute Vikram comes back into her life and takes her father's place, and both are exactly the same men, they just have a different modus operandi. Father does emotional blackmail, Vikram has his own modus operandi. She goes back into that shell. She becomes Bhuma, who was the Bhuma before she came to that college again. So it was perfect in my head. After 1 year in college, with the influence of these 2, she's become this much. But the minute he comes back into her life, she starts going into a shell again. So నాకు ఒక డిసనెన్సే లేదు తన క్యారెక్టర్ ఆర్క్ లో. నౌ వై దుర్గా? సో ఇట్స్ లైక్ Harshita and Vinay created a safe space for her and allowed her to come from -100 to 0.
Yeah.
Now I want to bring an influence in her life who will intellectually challenge her, who will show her that she's got wings, who will teach her how to flap those wings, whose company has this beautiful blossoming effect on her. And that is where Bhuma actually belongs.
Right.
In that company was the idea of Durga. So I wanted to show how on one hand Vikram's having this influence on her, and on the other hand she's finding this friendship that has the exact opposite effect on her, and to juxtapose both side by side, I felt it would be even more heartbreaking to see her. You see how she starts out in the play rehearsals, and then how she performs that dialogue in the play, and that's because of Durga's influence. And to see that light being brutally switched off by Vikram immediately in the next scene, I felt is more heartbreaking. So that was the initial function of Durga coming into the screenplay, and then from there on, it also felt like a beautiful way to show female friendships that we don't get to see in Telugu cinema too often. So I was like, hey, I have an opportunity, I'll make her a girl and I'll make her do this. And in my head, it is the arc of Bhuma Devi becoming Durga Devi by the end. So I will write another character and call her Durga. So
Right.
So,
Now that you mention Vinay's and Harshita's influence on her, you thought that one scene where they are sharing food, was that enough, or did you have something else in your mind? Because that influence, I really wish you could have like dwelled a little more into that.
Unfortunately, both of them are not even secondary characters; they're tertiary characters. So I didn't want to spend too much time and give people the impression that they are actually important.
Now that you emphasize on what they have done to her in the 1 year, the 1 year that we actually don't
Maybe I
see
should have
her,
done more. Maybe that's my that's
but
a
you
writing
didn't think
flaw.
of that in any draft?
No.
Okay.
I felt it was enough. Maybe that's maybe that was a flaw in the writing. Maybe, I don't know. But in my head, my thinking was that they're tertiary characters. Let's not spend more time and misdirect people in a way where they think they're actually important characters.
Because the film is opening with that, Gada. You're spending a bit of time on the Avakaya thing. So at least I expected maybe they'll have, and you're also ending with her rekindling the friendship with Harshita.
Correct.
So
maybe I could have spent more time on that. Maybe then some people who responded this way, maybe their doubts would have been addressed. So, yeah, maybe that's a writing flaw.
maybe that would have actually
All I can tell you
justifies
is that
that
at least
jump.
in my head it made sense.
Yeah,
I'm not so bad a writer that I
You're
didn't even
not, of
see the
course,
problem.
Of course, yeah.
In my head, I thought I had addressed the problem enough, but clearly maybe it wasn't enough. So yeah, fair enough. Those are, I think, learnings I can have when I think back.
Final question. Why Hi Nana?
It's an interesting question because I'm this weird guy where I make very important decisions in the screenplay because I want one dialogue to come in the film. Like for example, Arjun and Anjali are both named with A because I wanted that last dialogue where he says, నువ్వు ఏ అర్జున్ ఐ మీన్ నేను ఏ నువ్వు ఏ మరి పిల్లలు పుడితే ఏతోనైనా పేరు అంటారు. ఇట్స్ అ థింగ్ మై మమ్ అండ్ డాడ్ హ్యాడ్. అబ్బాయి పుడితే ఆర్ ఫర్ రవీంద్రన్, అమ్మాయి పుడితే వి ఫర్ వసుమతి వాస్ ద థింగ్ దే హ్యాడ్. సో ఐ డోంట్ నో, ఇట్స్ అ థింగ్ ఇన్ మై హెడ్. సో ఆ డైలాగ్ ఎండ్ పోస్ట్ క్లైమాక్స్ లో రావాలి కాబట్టి ఐ నేమ్ దెమ్ అర్జున్ అండ్ అంజలి. ఇమాజిన్. సో నాకేంటంటే I needed to, ఈ కంటెంపరీ టైం పీరియడ్లో I needed 2 films that were running at the same time in theaters concurrently, where one is a testosterone driven mass masala film, which I love Salar. So నాకు ఆ మైండ్లో సలార్ హాయనన్న లేదు. నాకు I need 2 films that were running in theaters at the same time, వేర్ విక్రమ్ ఇస్ ఏబుల్ టు సే ఆ సినిమాకి వెళ్దాం అంటే నువ్వేరా ఈ సినిమాకి తీసుకునే ఫస్ట్ వీడిని తనాలంటాడు. అండ్ ఫర్ మీ దట్స్ అ క్యారెక్టర్ మూమెంట్. జస్ట్ అ లిటిల్ పీస్ ఆఫ్ ద జిగ్సా వేర్ he should start making sense in the end, where he's doing certain things which cross a line. From the beginning, I start laying seeds so that he makes sense. One of those seeds is that he's a guy who likes a testosterone-driven violent film and not a sensitive, sweet love story. So I was like, which 2 films were in theaters at the same time? And we realized...
Gudachari and Sheila Sav.
No, but that has become too far in the past. No, I wanted to make a contemporary. So I was like, అరే ఈ 2-3 years గ్యాప్ లో ఏ సినిమాలు ఉన్నాయిరా అన్నప్పుడు హాయ్ నాన్న సలార్ ఒకటే నాకు అంటే కొంచెం పాపులర్ ఫిల్మ్స్ అందరికి తెలుసు వాట్ ఐఎమ్ గోయింగ్ ఫార్, దట్ ఇట్ యాక్చువల్లీ షేప్స్ యువర్ పర్సెప్షన్ ఆఫ్ ద క్యారెక్టర్. అంటే నాకు సలార్ హాయ్ నాన్ననే దొరికింది, వేర్ దే వర్ ఎట్ ద థియేటర్స్. దేర్ వాజ్ అ 2-week ఓవర్లాప్ పీరియడ్,
December 7th, 22nd
సంథింగ్ లైక్ దట్. సో దే వర్ ఇన్ థియేటర్స్ టుగెదర్. సో ఇట్స్ లైక్ ఓకే దొరికింది హాయ్ నాన్న సలార్ అని అది 2 పెట్టేశా. పెట్టాక ఐ వాజ్ లైక్ అరే ఐ లవ్ ద ఫ్యాక్ట్ దట్ ఇట్స్ హాయ్ నాన్న బికాస్ she has her psyche, her personality has been influenced, damaged, developed by only one caregiver in her life, which is her father. And I said it'll be beautiful because that scene where she ends the film and she comes out, I will make her empathize with the father. Where she's so brainwashed, so conditioned, her father's been guilt tripping her from, at that point you don't know, but I'm sowing the seeds there so that the flashback makes sense. Where she says hero character chala papam, and who is the hero? He's a nanna. So I was like that will be a nice, that works for me. So hence that dialogue.
It's
and that's
very
why
sweet. So, it's very sweet.
So that's why hi Nana. I wish we could talk more.
I know,
but I have a theater visit to do.
Come on, man, this is so unfair. We are doing an interview at 11:50 and still
I have a theater visit to do. I'm going to the second show. So
thank you so much for
I hope you got most of your questions.
No, I did. I got all of my questions.
Okay.
So thank you so much. See, I'm very happy for you. You know that, right?
I know, man.
I know that. I'm so happy that the film is doing really well, because I always believe in one thing, which this is something Mr. Bharadwaj Rangan told once, and I strongly believe in that. Every ticket is a vote. Okay, you vote for the kind of cinema that you want to see in theaters.
Absolutely. I'm so glad they're voting for the girlfriend.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw the interview start chese mundu you were looking at Book My Show.
Yeah,
I was like, bro, theater full, theater
Bro,
full. And I could see how happy you were. Genuinely.
I've been checking. So I do this. I check Book My Show.
Right.
For every film, whether it's doing well or not, because cinema doing well makes me happy, because I want cinema to be here. So because I want cinema to be here, so I can do more interviews, so I'll have my work.
Absolutely.
Okay, I want cinema to be here, and I'm glad. I just love cinema.
You and I love cinema.
I can't imagine my life without cinema. So I'm very happy for you. All the very best. I know it's been a it's been quite a journey. So I'm very happy
Thank
that
you,
you finally got a closure, and it's a happy ending.
Thank you, man. Thanks a ton. Pleasure talking to you, man. Lovely talking to you.
Likewise. Thank you so much.
All right, Ram.
Thank you.